Hello, everybody. Thank you for signing in to our second episode here. My name is Joel McCrary. It's my wife, Tammy.
Hi.
And we are talking today about bourbon. Believe it or not, this show is all about bourbon. And our show is called All Things Bourbon, but everything we're talking about here is bourbon. And so the title of this episode is Drink It Like You Like It. And so I saw that on a commercial the other day for Jim Beam. But truly, that is the way you should enjoy bourbon. Drink it like you like it. And everybody will have a different way they like to enjoy it. So first thing out of the bat is, what is bourbon? So first of all, bourbon is truly an American spirit. But here's the thing you have to remember. All bourbons are whiskey, but not all whiskeys are bourbon. So you will see Irish whiskey, you will see rye whiskey, you will see Scottish whiskey, which is called Scotch. You will see Tennessee whiskey, which Tennessee whiskey can be a bourbon because of their mash bill, but you'll also see Canadian whiskey, which you all are very familiar with, probably Crown Royal. That's a Canadian whiskey. There's other whiskeys like Canadian Mist. But number of different whiskeys, but bourbon can only be made in the United States of America. It is truly an American craft, and it has to be at least 51% corn. It has to be aged in a new charred oak barrel. It cannot be distilled above 160 proof. It cannot enter the barrel at more than 125 proof.
It can't be bottled.
It can't be bottled
at less than 80
proof. And no colors or flavorings can be added. So bourbon is the most regulated spirit in the world. You think about all the vodkas out there. There's flavored vodkas. There's flavored gins. There's flavored everything out there. But bourbon is truly an American craft that is the most regulated spirit in America, or actually in the world. So how's it made?
Oh, that's not my area.
Are you sure?
No, I know, like they cook it and distill it and
all right, so how's it made? Corn and other grains are mixed together and they're cooked. Once that they reach a certain temperature, we're not going to go into the specifics about fermentation, the temperatures and all that stuff, but all those grains are mixed together with water and then they're cooked. And that's one of the key ingredients is water. That's why a lot of moonshiners, all the distillers, they put themselves close to a good water source because there's so much water involved. That water is mixed with these grains. They raise the temperature on these grains. Once they reach a certain temperature on those grains, then they will introduce a yeast strain to start the fermentation process. Once the yeast has done its job and they reach the alcohol content that they're looking for in that fermenter's beer is what that's called, that all those grains, the corn, the rye, the barley, and the yeast, once they reach a alcohol content that they're looking for, then they will transfer that fermenter's beer to a still, and they will distill that product in that still.
There's still pots, and what's the other columns?
Yeah, there's columns. They'll have pot stills, which are not steel, they're copper.
But it's STILL still.
Yeah, but it's they transfer it into a still, and those stills are a lot of times are made of copper, and they will heat up that fermenter's beer until they start producing alcohol, and that alcohol will come off the top of that still, and it'll be
That makes the whiskey, then
it makes the whiskey, which is also called white dog. So after it comes off of the still, they'll transfer it into barrels, and then you have to sit back and wait. And that wait, if
Is it a minimum of 2 years and usually 4 years, and then the longer it goes, the higher the amount of dollars goes?
that's right. So it's a long wait. It can't. I think minimum of 2 years to call it bourbon.
Or maybe there's
But-
no minimum.
But there.
Because there's bottled and bond and all
Yeah,
kinds
there's so many different rules on bourbon. There's bottled and bond, which is specific amount of time that it has to be aged. There's also, but you can look at a bourbon and tell if it's real young or if it's been aged longer. And really, it's the coloring. If you look at the coloring of something of a liquor that's been aged in a barrel, the longer it's been in that barrel, the darker it'll get. So it's real. Guys, this isn't what we do. We're not distillers. We're just learning about this stuff, and so what we want to talk about today is drink it like you like it. And so if you look here, I have a glass with a big ice ball in it, and that comes from I make these ice balls with my own personal silicone molds.
No, he holds them in his hand.
No, I'm sorry. See, I put these in the freezer and I make these ice balls, and this is one of my favorite ways to drink bourbon. I also use these square cubes, which comes from that green mold that she just held up, and then I have these other molds here that I use for tasting. I wouldn't recommend putting them on ice. If you're really wanting to taste a bourbon, it's much better to drink it neat, and that is drinking it straight. That's pouring it into a glass and drinking it. If you like your bourbon chilled, but you don't want it cut with any kind of water, then you can use a chilling stone. And this is a chilling stone from Four Roses.
Stick it in the freezer.
But you stick it in the freezer, and it'll chill your bourbon for you.
And we need to get some pouring spouts. That would be nice, but we don't want to leave our bourbon open. So anyway, and they have these Glencairn glasses. So I like to drink mine neat, and I like that we learned that on tasting, a lot of it has to do with smelling and knowing a little bit of what you're doing. So you don't just take a big drink and a big gulp. You smell it, and you give it some time to breathe by rolling it around in there. Take a nice, not a gigantic whiff and overpower. And then you put it in your mouth with your mouth partially open and your nose, smelling the aromas. And basically it's kind of like getting, you're just prepping your mouth. You're going to take it in and you're going to fill up your whole mouth with the bourbon, just like you would probably like when you're using a mouthwash or something. And that is called the Kentucky Chew. You put it in there, you swish it kind of all around up in your gums and your mouth, and you're let it get in there, and that will just kind of prepare your mouth for the actual tasting. So the first one you're prepping, and then the second one you go back in and get a nice smell and taste. And so the first one is called the Kentucky Chew, where you and then the second one, you're tasting a lot more flavors. Your mouth's already prepared for the alcohol, and that's called your Kentucky Hug. Where you
feel that warmth.
Nice warmth in your chest, and all you bourbon drinkers already know that. And so that makes a whole lot of difference than going into a tasting and just taking a big drink like you would of something that you normally drink. It makes all the difference. That smell, the taste. I'm a very small sipper. He's a bigger sipper, and he likes his on ice. And some people prefer to add water. If it's really spicy, I think adding water would be good because it can kind of
mellow out that.
can kind of take some of the heat or the whatever to make it like you like it. So always try it. I just don't prefer it cold, so I don't like it on the ice, and I like mine neat. But I am not against adding some water because then I don't have to have the cold temperature on my bourbon to bring it down and try it a different way, because you may not like or care for something as much, but then you can add ice or add the water and find out that you really do like it. And then there's also...
So let's talk about the glasses some. So a lot of the tastings you'll do in a Glencairn glass, and this is a Glencairn glass, and the purpose of this is it's really easy to nose it, so you can hold it up to your nose and you can smell. You can smell the grains potentially. Again, this show is not about the notes. It's not about we may get better at that, but right now we're not. We are novices at knowing what we're smelling. And
I'd rather smell it out of my bottle. I don't like drinking out of those.
So these are harder to drink out of, and I don't really prefer these and never use these. These are Glencairns. These glasses right here are my preference, and these are old-fashioned glasses, and they're just they're great for if you want to put a big ice cube in it, or if you want to drink it neat. And so these are the two types of glasses.
And then the final way you can do stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Is mixers, but we are not that great of mixers.
We're not mixologists. We have not mastered mixing a good drink.
So you can go to your liquor store and find these. Sometimes we found these at Buffalo Trace. But your regular
we've seen these at liquor stores too, but these are already pre-mixed cocktails. Here's an old fashioned. Here's a Manhattan.
So I actually have not tried, or I don't remember trying them, but I know lots of people, the old fashioned they love the old fashioned.
Yep.
We haven't even actually opened that one. But as far as mixing drinks, we've tried, and our daughter likes to make some. We just haven't quite got that. That's another area to explore for us. So I like it neat. You like it?
I like it on the rocks or on a big cube. When I'm tasting it, I do like to taste it neat to see if I really like it. But I do like how the ice, as it slowly melts, will actually it kind of, to me, it releases the flavors, it blends the flavors, it mellows the flavors. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I like that slow mellowing of
watered down.
Watered down bourbon is what I like to drink. But my wife here, who's not a drinker, likes to drink it hard and straight. So
I'm becoming a drinker.
Yeah.
So like and subscribe if
like and subscribe if you like our videos. Look, you're just getting us. This is our real deal. This is who we are, and we're so glad that you have decided to watch our video. Please like and subscribe. And
if we said anything that's not correct, just kindly type it in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments.
We're new and we're trying to give
newbies.
Correct information.
We are by no means experts on bourbon, and not trying to be. We are just enjoying it, having a great time. I hope you enjoy our videos, and we'll keep them coming. Thanks.